Hello guys, Turbo495 here. Today I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on the Oaho and why I love this tank. Just before we get stuck in some gameplay, I got 3 clips to show you guys. I got one, I was actually stock when I got it, but I got, it was the Tempered Steel Heavy Tank mission. I got it on my first game. And I wanted to show that because it's a little bit of gameplay with the derp on this tank. I prefer the long 10cm gun on it. I'll go over that here soon, but just some things I wanted to show: the armor and mobility. The front plate, this is pretty much all 200mm. It doesn't really have a weak spot unless you're angling. This becomes a weak spot right here, this slanted piece of armor. So in the whole armor on the sides is pretty garbage. You do have the track section that comes up to about here for spaced armor, so you can somewhat side scrape, but you don't want to try and overextend yourself. One other key point to add about this is the gun depression. You literally have almost zero gun depression over these two notches in the middle. You have a little bit with this gun right through here. It's a little awkward, but it works. And then over the sides. With the derp, you don't have really any gun depression unless you're going over the sides. You have a bit more with the 10cm. I do enjoy this tank. I've still got a bit to go to get to the Type 4 Heavy, but honestly, the Tier 7 was pretty good. I enjoyed that. The only thing that I have to complain about is the depression over the front, which is honestly fixable. It's nothing too big, nothing dramatic. Other than that, just the mobility. The top speed's 25 kilometers an hour, and the specific power itself is almost 10, which is, it's not terrible. You're pretty much going to be at your top, you're pretty much going to be at your top speed. It might take a little bit to get up there, but you do max out at the 25. But before anything else, let's get stuck into some gameplay. Alright guys, and we're back. So this is literally the first game I had in this tank. So when we first start off, I'm going to try and be a little frustrated with the gun depression over the front. This is the derp. I believe I switched to high explosive, but this was a really intense battle. I had a couple people come in my room, you know. But we'll see how this goes. I'm going to go ahead and do 2 times speed just because, maybe a little faster, just because of how slow this thing actually is. But I'm kind of playing with it. I'm like, really? How low is this gun depression? But I mean, it's not bad. The derp is not bad, honestly. It's a matter of preference. If you get into the higher tier matchmaking with the tier 10s, possibly tier 9s, it's really good to use HE with it, just so you can do those 300 or 400 damage punches. The longer gun, the only bad part for me, besides the reload's a little on the long side, but besides that, is it does not get premium shells. So you only have 215 pen to work with, kinda. But this ridgeline right here, this is actually a really good spot for the tier 7 because you can angle very well. It makes your effective, because you're angled up and you're pretty much all sloped. And this is where I kind of struggle with the gun depression. This is a really good spot. But as I kind of go up over this hill, this poor MT, yeah, it's always nice, you know, just like a KV2. But at this point, I'm kind of freaking out, you know. I don't really have the gun depression right now. If I angled a little more, like I said, this is my first game. If I angled a little more, I probably could have done a little bit better. But I'm kind of struggling right here. And if you just look at the size comparison between these two tanks, the KV5 is pretty freaking big. This thing just kind of can look over it almost. But I'm trying to eliminate the guns. The KV5, which I do here in a bit, I could have probably shot one of the heat shells I carry through his cupola. It's going to be iffy because of the pen on it. I believe it's only 150. But I mean, me and this KV2 pretty much are holding our flank by ourselves. We got a T67 at H9 that's supporting us a bit, as well as the artillery. But I've already taken 10 hit point, or 10 shells so far, you know, for almost 3,000 damage, as you can see right here. Decided to go for the IS-6 because the KV-5, it's only got a little bit of pen. Even with premium shells, he doesn't have much over 200 penetration. And at this point, I'm just kind of freaking out, you know. I'm like, what am I doing? I had some family come in the room right around this point too. I was kind of, that's what I meant by the side armor. He shot a shell straight through the track, right there. If you can see the shell hole. And the KV-5's trying to flank me. That artillery shell helped me out a lot. And then this way I can kind of try, I try to scrape him off. And at this point the KV-5 just resorted to shooting HE shells at me, which I thought was hilarious. But there you go, there's the first heat shell. I did miss that one. And the KV-5 is just so heavy as well as me. I can barely scrape him off the side. But I do, and then I kind of, once I get loaded, I try and shoot his cupola again, and it does go through. Thank God. But I'm going to pause it here. I have a comet coming at me right there. And it's kind of funny to see what actually happens to him. Right now, I got the T-64 behind me, and the comet almost wanted to squeeze through there. But at this point, he's going to engage the T-64 while I kill his KV-5. And I didn't pen, I low rolled. I'm like, oh, come on, man. And I'm really worried about that comet, so I go ahead and I'm like, what happened? And then he falls into the water. And at this point, I've blocked 4,000 damage almost, 3,800 and a half, and I finally get the killing blow on this guy. I need to do a total of 8,000 combined with, like, health taken, damage received, and damage caused. And I did it at this point. I mean, from this point on, it really just, he just gets wrecked. But that was the first game. I just kind of wanted to show, this was the first game for me, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome, you know. And I honestly got lucky with that matchup over there because, I mean, not every game is like this, you know. It's World of Tanks, obviously. I want to show what happens when you get into a crappy match, when the matchup is just an open map, something like maybe Westfield. We'll be right back. Alright guys, and we're back. So this is Westfield, 41% chance to win, and I hate this map with all of my heavies. My Moss, my E100, everything. I go to the town on this map because I like to control the town. I got some cover from already, and I like to try and play it. And lately, I don't know what it is. I don't know what's going on, but nobody goes with me. And this is what's gonna, the Oho has bad view range, bad concealment, pretty much everything. And it's not the worst map, like Camp Kanovka, for instance, would probably be terrifying, for me at least. And we'll see why. We'll see what's gonna happen. But as I was saying, you can kind of see where that gun depression came in right there, right through the little corner, right there. There you go. That's 10 degrees. It's really nice, and it's not a bad angle either if you try and get through there. But so we're pushing into town. I see you got an IS at E5, going into E5. And I'm like, okay, this isn't terrible. He can get the lower half. And I'm like, oh great, there's a Ferdy. Hey, man. Well, then I see a T-150, and my first reaction was like, oh, poor T-150. And he's not. I mean, he's an okay player, you know. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll try and kill him, you know. I'll back up a little bit. I wanted to get already safe. That's what I was thinking right now. You know, take the first shot. It's fine. He bounces. You know, it's all going according to plan. Until a Wild Tiger 2 shooting gold shells appears. Which is, you know, it happens. It's World of Tanks. But I can't even see the Tiger at this point, you know? And I'm the only one guarding town. And then the Tiger comes up behind me. And I get ammo racked. And I can't repair it. And I'm getting shot at by the Ferdy. The mobility combined with the view range. And then one other thing I forgot to mention was ammo racks. I have a really bad time with ammo racks. Anytime you get shot in the side. I mean, other than that, it's not bad. My problem that I made was I advanced too far without my teammates, and my platoon mates, they were all pretty much screwed already. My Yag Panther 2 was getting beaten down because they bonsai'd over there. The Tiger 2 made a correct move. He flanked me. He got me to turn around, and I gave myself to the RHM, and I gave myself to the Furdy. But again, that ties in with the view range, the mobility, and then I pretty much just screwed myself. But that's one of the downfalls. I want to show the next match is going to be me bullying people. And you'll see what I mean here soon. I'll be right back. Alright guys, and we're back. So in this match, this isn't necessarily, you know, over the top match. I didn't do the most damage, but I took a lot of hits. And I just kind of want to see, you know, just kind of bullying people. This is one of a more, I mean, it's not an average game. I took 20, I think it ended up with 25 hits. We'll look at that at the post-game stats, but, what I was gonna say is, it was a fun match. I took a lot of hits, I took a lot of beating, and it was interesting. Most of the matches you do end up blocking a ton of damage. That's one of the highlights of the, you know, Japanese tanks. It's Japanese super heavies. But we'll see what I mean here. This, as well as the gun. I actually had a really nice snapshot right here. That was lucky. But yeah. But as far, I mean, I showed a lot of the dislikes about the vehicle in the last clip. I love to play this thing in, you know, city maps like Himmelsdorf and stuff like that, just like all the other heavy tanks mostly, like the U-100 and stuff. It's nice. It's got superior armor. The armor around the whole front is 200. I mean, not many tanks at tier 8, if you're top tier like this, have over 200 pen. The IS-3, unfortunately, he does go through. I'm not sure where exactly, but he does end up going through. Honestly, that's that in the KV-4. They can go through reliably unless you're over-angled. Like I mentioned before, the side armor, they can go through pretty easily there. Yeah, I try and take a shot at this IS-3A here. I know it's low probability because of the different angle on the turret. IS-3 bounced off my turret. And then I got my eye set on this Super Pershing. I believe I take one more shot on this. Kind of missed the turret right in there. But I see that Super Pershing right there, and the left side is actually modeled correctly. You can actually, that's a hitbox. The right side isn't. So I decided to try and get shots, and that successfully goes through. I got a bit of a high roll on that shot. This next shot, see if I can do it one more time, and I take him out. So that was the Super Pershing, and he was actually a pretty good player. So next we're gonna try and fight over the hill. The east side of the map, we've only got a Cromwell and OI, I believe, and I think that Chieftain, yeah, the Chieftain is on top. So I bounced the AT-15 a few times and the Hellcat. I know there's an ARL in front of me, and I kind of want to get shots on him. And if I can stay angled like this, I don't think that AT-15 can pen me, even with gold shells. But I try and poke out here. Let's see if... See, there he is. I didn't really have a shot there, though. AT-15 keeps still poking me. And the shell on that dives down. And this is what I mean. From a distance, I think he went through the side. He got a little cheeky on the side shot. But I mean, generally, from long range, you're going to have a hell of a hard time penning this thing. I did get smacked there, though. So far, I think I'm at 2200 damage blocked by armor. And this thing can just take a beating. Like I said, it's not the best damage in the game, but it can do a lot of damage. And I was just surprised at how much gold shells that AT carried. You know, I'm not complaining or anything, but I was like, jeez, man.
Hey, man.
By the way, I forgot to mention, all of these mods, XVM, the hit log, I'll have the link for the mod pack in the description below. They are all legal. It's an installer, you simply check what you want. But I'll leave that in the description. But I decided to go over to the right here. And I know that they've got a lot of tanks in that back corner at A3, A4. I wanted to come over here and try and get a couple shots on this IS-3 because he's what we're having the most trouble with. And I wanted to try and get rid of this ARL as well, but I just couldn't find the outline of his target. And I thought I could try and get a shot, like I mentioned a second ago, on this IS-3 with the 10 degrees of gun depression. He does a good job. He stays out of where I can hit him at least. He gets a cheeky shot into me here in a second. Just because of how tall I am. Goes through right the side right there. Believe so. But the T-29 and the IS-3 are the two spotted. The T-29 is still at full health. And we got an OI and an Indian Panzer on the east side. We have the artilleries moving up too. We got the Chieftain and as well as the Cromwell are moving up too to support that side. T-29 just got killed from the 18. You could see the tracer. He is in the back at A4. And at this point, I kind of want to try and get spots on him, and I want to try and get rid of the guy. But I mean, with the bad view range, you can't really do anything. And I got that IS-3 proxy spotting me right there as well. What I should have done right here is probably gone back. I get ready to turn around here in a second. But I want to try and get one more shot on this guy. And I find that if he goes far enough out, I can. But the IS-3 is just so short, you know, that you just can't do it. I try like one last time, and then I start to turn around here in a minute. But yeah, for sure the AT-15 is back there, and I believe the E-25 is too. He hasn't been spotted yet. But as you can see, I've been hit 17 times. A lot of them being premium shells. But I've taken 2,220, damage blocked by armor. And then I head over here to probably help with this T-29. I mean, we should be fine. We should be able to take him out with no problem. So, I mean, we got 4 tanks, yeah. So at this point, and already smacks me. That's another thing. You have no armor on top of this tank. If that artillery is, you know, 1 tier higher, that would have killed me. Or even if he hit me more directly in the top of the tank, I would have been out of the game. But at this point, I'm thinking about that IS-3. He needs to go. He's the one spotting everyone on the hill when they move up, so we cannot help or get rid of the AT-15 and the E-25 and back. Kind of worried about that. I kind of whiffed that shot over the top of the tank. I didn't get shot at by the AT, so that's good. Couple people complaining in chat about the Indian Panzer. Want them to move up, but so I'm trying to play this safe. I don't want to move up. I know I could probably take one hit from the AT-15. I don't want to, but I can, because this IS-3 really does need to go. The E-25 takes out our Chieftain. Excuse me. And as at this point, I decided to press forward. The E-25 is going to have a really, really hard time penning me, and the AT-15, as you guys seen, it already was having a hard time penning me. So I decided to move up here. I'm not sure where the IS-3 went. He might have gone back up the hill, or he might just be around this corner. And is he? The E-25 went up the hill, okay. And there's the IS-3. I have no idea what... Oh, it looks like the shot hit the mountain, so I hurry up and repair the gun. It looks like... And I reload quicker than him, so I thought I could get a shot off, and then I take a shot from the hill by the AT-15. I just realized my driver got hit too. I was like, why am I going so slow? But I'm trying to get this Indian Panzer. I'm kind of hoping he listens to the Chieftain. The Chieftain's being a little A little bit of a pest about it, though. He didn't have to go that far overboard. But the Cromwell's going to keep that IS-3 proxy spotted, and the AT-15's in the back. And it's at this point I'm like, you know, we really do need to get rid of him. And the Cromwell's kind of distracting him, you know, at the moment, because the IS-3 is looking at him. He's worried about it, because he's keeping the Cromwell proxy spotted, but he's also keeping the IS-3 spotted as well. So I'm looking at the Neumpanzer, and I'm like, he's not going to move up. So,
Hey, man.
go for it. Then they already get spotted, and this kind of made me a little upset. I shot his gun. Or I thought I did. It didn't even pen. Don't know where that went. 215 penetration and like 20 millimeters of armor. But I push up, the artillery's gone, he can't kill me, the only thing left is him and the AT-15. So I wait a second, try to put a shell in the lower plate, get rid of him, and at this point I kind of just charge this AT-15. I mean, nothing special at the end really here. I kind of just push up on him.
Hey, man.
Making sure my team's following me. He bounces a few more shells. I try to get a couple shells into the cupola. It's one of the weak spots on the AT-15, but it just wasn't happening. It was the angle, I believe, there, but the Cromwell's doing a pretty good job. He's getting behind him. I don't really have any shots because I'm slow right here, and there's the game. It's not a bad tank. The armor held up really nicely. The gun, honestly, I prefer the 10 centimeter experimental. It's all personal preference. The only downside, like I said, is no gold shells. But I mean, overall, it's a great tank. The mobility's a little low. What else? Mobility's a little low, power to weight ratios are low, spotting distance. But I mean, if you're into heavy tanks, I'm talking about like heavy tanks, like you're going down the E100 line, the Moss line, it's the super heavy tanks. I feel like you'll like it. The Tier 6, the Tier 5, Tier 6 are still decent. They had a minor nerf to them recently. I'm not sure how hard they are to grind after that. But the Tier 7, I had a really great time, and especially this. I believe I might be halfway through it, but I really do thoroughly enjoy this tank, and I would recommend it. But let's take a very quick look at the post-game stats, and see you there. Be right back. Alright guys, and we're back. So as we can see here, like I said, it's not the most damage in the game. You know, I did 1633, not bad, but it's respectable. I did block 3060 damage. I believe, yep, I got the steel wall for that. How many shells did I take? I took 23 hits and 7 penetrated. That is a beating. Not the most damage. The first clip when I was stocked, the first game, I believe I blocked 4,000. But it was a very good game. I still made 8,000 credits. Not the most, but then again, I didn't do the most damage. I just kind of took the hits for the team. But it is a very good tank. I would recommend it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to post them in the comment section below, and feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and take it easy. Have a good night.